Are you, like me, scrolling through your phone right now? Go away! Did you know the average person spends about 7 hours a day on their mobile phone? And this can lead to anxiety and sleep problems, and can also cause broken relationships. Let's look at how perhaps a digital detox can improve our mental health and possibly make us more productive. And maybe we could do this in under 30 days. Welcome again to Peace Unplugged. Today we're tackling something that affects nearly every person listening right now. That is our unhealthy relationship with technology. Yes, you're right, I'm as guilty as the rest of you. I'm doing this to challenge me as well. But please listen right through to the end of this podcast. I promise you'll discover how much of this really applies to all of us. Now, I'm sure you felt that phantom vibration in your pocket, or checked your phone within minutes of waking up. Or perhaps finding yourself awake at 2 a.m. and mindlessly scrolling through social media. If so, this episode of Peace Unplugged is definitely for you. So we're going to look at the possibilities of a digital detox and find out why these devices have such a major hold on us. And most importantly, ways to break free. Believe me, folks, this is shocking and it's very challenging. Put your phone down, Martin, and get on with the podcast. So we're going to explore this through some hypothetical stories that really hit home. Here's the first of these. Meet Sarah, a 32-year-old marketing manager, and she considers herself a normal phone user. She'd wake up each morning and her hand would immediately reach for her mobile phone. She'd be checking emails, Instagram, Facebook, and general news messages, and this would be 15 minutes within opening her eyes. So after 15 minutes, she'd already consumed a massive amount of information, and that caused her cortisol level to rise dramatically. Then she started to notice something a little bit disturbing. She couldn't remember the last time she woke up feeling peaceful. Her first thoughts weren't about her day ahead or her family. They were about the massive amounts of notifications she received on her phone. She discovered that she was spending 6.5 hours daily on her mobile phone. And the first hour of that was even before she had breakfast. And she was feeling controlled by something she thought she was controlling. Worst part of this, she tried to stop multiple times, but she found herself automatically reaching for that phone, almost unconsciously. So Sarah resolved to make a simple rule: no phones in the bedroom. She bought an alarm clock and decided that her phone would charge overnight in the kitchen. The first week was really uncomfortable and pretty painful, but after about 3 weeks, something changed. She started to wake up naturally. She spent the morning journaling in her diary, and she started to have actual conversations over the breakfast table with her partner. Her anxiety decreased at least by half, and she felt like she gained back control of her mornings and eventually her whole day. Over a 3-month period, her screen time dropped by 3 hours daily, and she described feeling like myself again. Now let's meet David, a software developer who prided himself on being able to multitask. He'd work on code with Slack open. There'd be email notifications pinging all day, the phone buzzing away with text messages, and he'd have YouTube videos, perhaps some music playing in the background. And paradoxically, he thought all this connection made him more productive and kept him informed. He always wanted to be in the loop. David's manager pulled him aside one day with a few concerns. Despite the fact he worked a 10-hour day, he was told that his output had declined over the past year. The projects were taking longer. His code work had more bugs in it, and he seemed distracted when at meetings. David was confused and frustrated. This is mainly because he felt like he was working harder than ever. So he decided to track his actual focus while working. Out of 10 hours at his work desk, he worked out that he was actually only doing about 2 hours of focused work. The constant distractions were affecting his concentration, and his productive work was down to about 20%. So David experimented with something called monk mode mornings. From 9 a.m. to midday, he put his phone in the drawer. He closed all the communication apps and decided to work on one single task. He used a browser extension to block all distracting websites. And the first day he did this, he experienced quite a bit of anxiety. He felt like he was missing something all the time. But the results showed a great improvement in his focused time at work. Tasks that used to take him all day long, he found he was finishing by lunchtime. And within a month, his manager noticed a massive improvement. This resulted in David feeling like he'd leaving work having accomplished a really productive day, and it improved his mood. You see, he confused being busy with being productive, and the constant digital interruptions were the root cause of this. Now let's meet Jessica, a 26-year-old teacher, and she loved Instagram. She spent her evenings scrolling through the feeds, looking at exotic holidays of other people, noticing engagement announcements, witnessing career promotions of her friends, watching fitness transformations. She followed loads of influencers, and to her, they all seemed to have it all worked out. It felt harmless, maybe even a little bit inspirational. She told herself she was just staying connected and getting more motivation. The trouble was, after a few months, she noticed a creeping feeling of inadequacy. Her home felt shabby compared with what she saw online. Her relationships felt boring, her body felt wrong, and her career felt like it was stagnant. Then she started experiencing Sunday night anxiety. That wasn't just about going to work the next day. It was about her entire life. She posted her own photos and then obsessively check for interaction, looking for likes and comments. She felt that endorphin rush when those comments came in, but a massive drop when they didn't. A friend of hers said to her, "You seem a bit different lately. You seem a bit low." That was the wake-up call. Jessica realised she'd been experiencing some symptoms of depression, and she worked out that her social media interaction was much of the cause of that. So Jessica, on advice, decided to delete Instagram for 30 days. She didn't delete the account. She just took a break. She removed the app from her phone. First few days, she'd instinctively go looking for it. After a couple of weeks, something remarkable happened. She found that she stopped thinking about it constantly. She started reading books again, something she'd not done for quite a few years. She started calling her friends rather than just liking their posts on social media. She started to notice her surroundings when she walked to work in the morning. This was instead of scrolling through other people's lives. After 30 days, she reinstalled the app. She discovered that everything looked, shall we say, different, less real, and what she saw online felt less important. She now checks her social media once a week, and that's for about 20 minutes, and her general mood improves significantly. Now let's meet the Marshall family. They're parents with 2 teenage kids, and they sit down to dinner together every night. They were proud of this ritual, but increasingly, all 4 of them would have their mobile phones at the table. Dad would answer work emails. Mum would be scrolling through her Facebook feed. The teens would be texting or WhatsApping their friends. You see, they were physically together, but their minds were scattered. When they did talk to each other, those conversations were just surface level, and they frequently be interrupted by notifications on the mobile phone. The breaking point came during a family holiday to the Lake District. Mrs. Marshall noticed that the 3 others in the family noticed their holiday experience through the lens of their mobile phone. Constant screen captures, sending those photographs off to their chosen social media. They'd be constantly checking for service to stay connected, and they'd be capturing numerous videos. She noticed that her 15-year-old daughter kept using filters on the photographs, rather than noticing the natural colours and the views of nature. That evening, Mrs. Marshall really got quite upset and broke down. She said to the rest of her family, "Listen, we're losing each other." The kids rolled their eyes. Dad got a bit defensive, but actually deep down, they all felt the same. They sensed they were becoming estranged from each other, even though they lived in the same house. So what did the Marshall family do? They decided to create a phone basket by the front door, and they put in a strict family boundary. That is, no phone use during meal times, no phone use between 8 p.m. and 8 a.m. in the morning. The first week they tried that, it was really challenging. It was filled with complaints and arguments, quite a bit of irritability. But after a while, things started to improve with communication in the family. They started playing board games. The kids actually started to talk about their day at school. They talked about relationships and about what their real worries were. The parents reconnected as a couple, and 6 months later, the daughter said something profound. She said, I actually know my brother now. I know what he cares about. Now, the thing is, the family didn't abandon technology. They just put it back in its proper place with some boundaries, and it stopped becoming the centre of their lives. They started feeling like a family again instead of a bunch of people just living together in the same accommodation. Now let's meet Marcus, a 41-year-old accountant, and he was suffering with chronic insomnia. He'd lie in bed for hours with his mind racing, and he was unable to fall asleep. When he did fall asleep, it was fitful and unrefreshing. He'd wake up exhausted. He found himself drinking far too much coffee just to function. And this cycle would repeat itself. He tried melatonin, he added sleep apps to his phone, he added meditation tracks to the phone, but nothing seemed to work. His doctor suggested something else might be going on. Then a friend suggested that he track his evening routine. It was obvious. He was working on his laptop till 10 p.m. in the evening. Then he'd go to bed, pick up his mobile phone, and start scrolling through all the news apps. He'd put on YouTube videos, and he'd be watching those until midnight or sometimes later. You see, the blue light was suppressing his melatonin. All that stimulating content was activating his sympathetic nervous system. That was happening right when he should be getting ready to settle down. Even worse, his brain started associating screen time with bedtime. That resulted in wakefulness rather than sleep, and his mind would be processing everything that he'd watched, keeping him awake. You see, his sleep hygiene was completely out of kilter, and it was the technology that was the culprit in this. So Marcus put in a strict boundary. He called it a digital sunset at 8 p.m, no screens after that time. The first few nights felt difficult, and he felt bored, so he started reading some physical books. He read beside a warm lamp. He started journaling. He had conversations with his wife during the evening. Within 2 weeks, he started falling asleep much easier. After 1 month, he started sleeping right through the night. He discovered that his energy levels improved dramatically through the day. He lost 10 pounds in weight without even thinking about it. That's because he'd stopped stress eating. That's consuming food late in the evening. His doctor confirmed that his resting heart rate had dramatically improved as well. Overall, describes it all as getting his life back, simply by disconnecting from all those screens late at night. Okay, so that's the stories. Now let's look at some practical solutions. And these are things that we can start implementing today. I'm going to throw down the gauntlet and include myself in this. Number 1, create phone-free zones. Set boundaries where you charge the phone outside of the bedroom and keep the phone away from the dining table. Avoid looking at the phone in the first hour after you wake. If you need to wake up at a certain time in the morning, go back to using an ordinary alarm clock. Charge the mobile phone outside of the bedroom. It's likely we'll find that our sleep pattern will dramatically improve and we'll have a lot more mental clarity. Number 2, implement deep work blocks. This is scheduling 2 to 4 hours a day where we can be completely focused on the tasks we've got to do. Turn off all the notifications on the phone, close the communication apps, and use website blockers. We'll discover that we'll achieve more in these focus sessions. Everything will become much more efficient. There's a saying here, quality over quantity transforms productivity. Number 3, take regular social media breaks. Here's a challenging one. Take a 30-day break from your favorite social media app. Delete the app, not necessarily the account. For those 30 days, replace what you were doing with ordinary reading a book, engaging in outside hobbies, making face-to-face connections with people that you know. It's suggested that we'll discover something new about ourselves. That's how social media has the potential to seriously affect our mental health if we're not careful. Number 4, establish some family tech boundaries. Create these rules for everybody in the household. That is, device-free meals, use a phone basket, decide to have tech-free evenings. Let's model the behaviour that we're trying to see improve other people's behaviours. Make genuine space for conversation and connection. Let's deepen those important relationships with the people that we know and that we love. And finally, number 5, practice what we might call a digital sunset. Set a time. Let's say 2 to 3 hours before bedtime. All screens go off. Replace that evening scrolling with deciding to read a novel perhaps. Make some conversation. Start writing a journal. It's suggested that sleep quality will start to improve. And when sleep improves, everything else improves as well. Okay, folks. This is a real throw down the gauntlet challenge. I know I'm going to struggle myself to manage to do these things. But let's do it together. Let's have a go. Perhaps just one thing at a time. Thank you again for listening in to Peace Unplugged. Take care and keep well. Bye for now. Martin.